Hot Off the Press has a brand new paper collection, and it's called Romantic Florals. And Teresa has done some beautiful projects. Of course, that's what we would expect. Won't you please come play with us? Well, this is the whole collection of Romantic Florals, and let me just give you a brief overview. We have the 12 by 12 papers. Now that includes 12 of them. They are double-sided, and you're going to get 38 cutouts, and you get kind of a snapshot of each of those papers, but I'm going to be showing you some of them. By the way, when you go to the product page of any of these, you'll see a video that I did showing you every single sheet, every single die cut, all of the pieces. So you've got a little bit of a guided tour. As always, this is hot off the press, so you're going to get scrapbook page, you're going to get card ideas on the back of all the packaging. We also have this is cardstock. I hope I said that, pattern cardstock. The solid cardstock is also 12 by 12. There are 2 each of 9 colors on 12 sheets. I'll show you how we do that when we get into the projects. We also have the 6 by 6 Romantic Floral. Again, this is cardstock. There are 24 sheets plus 76 cutouts. You basically get 4 of every single sheet. That works out nicely. Then we also have the die cuts with 31 of them. There are 2 different sheets. You can see them there, and I'll be showing them to you. Then we also have the Romantic Florals chipboard. Oh, so gorgeous. Wait till you see what Teresa has done. Now, before I get into Teresa's projects, I want to share with you a scrapbook page. This is on the back of the 12 by 12 pattern, and it just really shows you what a great job these papers can do with scrapbooking and card making and all sorts of things. We want to make sure that we don't forget our scrapbooking friends. Okay, let's get into the first card, and we can get in closer because these, of course, are our regular size cards, and we want to get you up close and personal. Thank you, Steve. Now, this begins with a sheet of cardstock, but let me just open this up to show you because this is fun. So it kind of accordion folds out like that. Now, it doesn't go all the way flat, but what it does allow you to do is to kind of get a peekaboo inside, and it will stand upright also. So that's nice. That's just going to look like if it's standing upright. Okay. Now, let me show you how to do this. And Teresa tells us to begin with cardstock. Now, she did white cardstock on that. It is a 12-inch by 6-inch piece. And measuring from the left, Teresa scores and makes lines at 2 inches, at 4 inches, at 6 inches, and at 8 inches. And of course, you can see that's how it's going to fold up. When she goes to fold these, in the first one, starting at the left, it's a mountain fold, then a valley, then a mountain, and then a valley, just like that. Okay, so that's going to be your card base. Very easily done. Now, let's get back to our finished card and go through the steps that Teresa did. Now, for this card, she has used the 6 by 6 pattern cardstock. And let me show you which one she used. Now, on the front of her card, you can see it right here. It is this sheet. And she has used both sides of it very cleverly. The first side is right here. And by the way, I'm not going to give you a lot of the I'm not going to give you any of the measurements for the papers because they are down below. Just click on any of the cards and it will take you to the page, and the instructions are over on the right-hand side. So you can print them off if you want to, but they are right there. So just to make it easy and to make this a little bit faster and less confusing. So that is going to go right there. For this piece, the rest of that same sheet is going to go on the inside. And notice this is what Teresa does often, is she allows this card to be the mat around the papers, and that just does a really nice job. Okay, now there is this kind of piece right here. I'm not quite sure what to call it, but it stops the card from opening flat. So we'll call it a stopper card, okay? Now that was done out of the green cardstock. And let me just show you that. Here it is. So you get a dark green. On the back side of it, there is a light green. There you go. You can see the difference. So you've got multiple shades, and that's very handy. But in this case, she has cut this piece, folded and scored it and folded in half. And then she took this paper that is on the back of this one. This is actually the front sheet. And she cut 2 pieces and glued them to each flap of that green cardstock. Really pretty. And with this kind of ghosted back, it really creates a really nice place for our die cuts to rest. But more about that in just a moment. Since I've got this open, let's talk about what's going on those 3 panels. And Teresa didn't want to just leave them white, although she could have, but I think having the pattern paper just adds a really nice background, especially to this piece. So this is the piece of paper she used. It's 1 6x6, and she simply cut it into 3 pieces and glued it on each of those panels. So 3 pieces out of the 24 sheets that are in the 6x6 is what she used. Now let's go back here and let me show you what's going on. So she has taken the die cuts, and I'm pulling out the sheet here. There are 2 sheets, and the one that has the happy birthday is right here. And what's really fun is that when you look at this, it almost looks like it's double matted. So there's a white border and then this burgundy border. But that's done in just one punch out, because these will just pop right out of this backing. And as you can see, that's going on right there. And she simply foam taped it on top of this piece. So that worked out nicely. Now, she also has these flowers, and these are from our Tiny Flowers and Leaves cutting die. What's nice about this is that one pass through your machine, you're going to get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 flowers just popped right out. And then you've got branches and leaves to accent. And those were done on all the colors, almost all the colors of that solid cardstock. And here is a look at them in big form. Let's see. So we've got the blue. You can see that she used there. It's kind of a dark blue. The pink, the green you saw, the 2 colors, and she's used 2 colors. Also, this kind of gold has been used, and they just do a really nice job of playing through this card. Now, you see the center of those, how pretty they are. Well, if you haven't seen these, you do want to know about them. This is from Buttons Galore. This is their Jewels mix. There are 12 colors. They're each in a separate little screw-on compartment, and to keep them. And so what Teresa did is she simply put a dot of the specialist glue on each of the flowers. The flowers are just glued together, and then placed one of the jewels on top. In fact, we have a handy tool for that, which are some tweezers that Teresa is going to use a little bit later. So if you want to be very precise with that, these are very easy to use because you're just pressing and they'll open up. Okay, now let's get back to our card. And you can see on each side, Teresa has added more sparkle. So just a bit of something. And what she has chosen are the gold border dazzles. You can see them in all their glory right there. And she's just placed them, as you can tell, facing into her card. Now this piece, as I said, was glued on, but there's also this on the next sheet. And Another Year Wiser is another one of the die cuts. More of those little flowers. Celebrating the Magic of You, well, that too is another of the die cuts. And she added the Make-A-Wish. Now the Make-A-Wish is one of the cutouts, so one of the 70-some cutouts, as I recall, that are in the 6x6 pack. So there they are. Now more flowers, and those little branches just do a nice job of kind of hugging around the artwork. And the bow is done out of the ivory ribbons, so that just does a nice job there. It's just a knotted piece, and that completes the card. Very pretty. And this will fit into our regular card, our regular envelopes that will fit the 5x6.5 inch cards. So you don't have to worry about that. I should mention that when she attached this piece, she did use the extra sticky tape. We like to use that whenever there's going to be something movable that is glued on, because this just gives an extra, well, just like the title, extra sticky. So that works very nicely. Okay, let's go to our next card, which is also a unique card, and it's also using the 6x6 papers. So here we go. Isn't that pretty? Very different. And this piece, you make the world very special. And I'm going to pull that back. And you are loved. Life is better with you. A lot of really nice affirmations. But we're not done. Here it is, more. Everything you do makes a difference. Just be you. Really, really sweet. Okay, now to make this, we're going to get some patterns, and Teresa takes care of us so nicely with that. Now this is a download. Now the download, again, go to this card down below, click on it. You'll see the instructions. You'll also see the download on top of the instructions. So you can just print that out. Every now and again, I have someone asking me what's the size of the pattern. This is 6 inches by 9 7/16. But if you just print this out, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, it will automatically be the exact size you need. So there are 2 downloads. There's this, and there's also this one, and this is the pattern to go on the front of the card, okay? So it's to take care of the patterned cardstock. So when you print this out and use this to cut out your cardstock, that's the size it's going to be. And what Teresa does for us is she has the score lines. The score lines are dashed lines. So there's one there, 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 and then this big X. So that's what's been done here. Also, she marks them whether they're valley or mountain folds. So you can see that these angled ones are mountain. They pop up like this. The one there is a valley, and this is a valley, and this is a mountain. Okay, mountain, valley, got it? Now, that's what we're going to use to make our card, and it just collapses like this. Teresa does recommend using a bone folder, because a bone folder is going to really help you press down on those score lines. She also likes the adorable scorable scoreboard, adorable scorable scoreboard, and it has a bone folder on it, or you can use whatever you like, of course. Now, when this is done, our card isn't complete because remember, it folded up. So Teresa has us cut another piece of cardstock. This is 6 by 3.5. You're going to take this download that you cut out and put extra sticky tape on the back of the flap. That flap is 1/2 inch, by the way. When you remove the tape, you can attach that to that base, and that will become the inside of your card. So this card has several interactive parts, which are just most fun. Okay, so that's the construction of our piece. Then we're going to go into making the card itself. So this was made out of that burgundy cardstock that is part of the solid cardstock. So here it is, and that's what she has chosen. So let me give you that information now. So far as our decorating that card base, here is the paper that Teresa used for the front. Now this is the piece, this is how you're going to position it, that it's going to go and cover this part. So that's going to work nicely. Then that triangle download that you get, which is the paper pattern. Okay, I'm just pulling it out again. There it is. This is going to be cut out of the bottom part of that same paper, just like so. And you can see how nicely it nestles onto that triangle. So that takes care of that piece. Then, as we go into adding the elements, most of them are cutouts from this 6x6 piece. So you make the world very special. It's right there. That just gets cut out. No matting, nothing else, simple cuts, and foam tape it on top. Then we're going to go inside here. And inside here has a lighter, kind of ghosted pattern. And it is on the back side of this sheet. Again, that's the front sheet of the pack, and it's right here. So you're going to use that. Again, it's that same download triangle. You Are Loved is right here, as well as this border. That's part of the die cuts. Okay. Then right here, we have that paper that I showed you earlier. The burgundy ribbon. Teresa did something interesting with this. Well, she generally does. So this is the burgundy set. And she wrapped that around the paper before she glued it to her card, and that's fine. But if you'll notice this piece here, this has the burgundy with black stitching, the burgundy with white stitching. It has an 1/8 inch grosgrain, and it has a sheer. So all of those were just held together and knotted around this base piece of ribbon. So that's just really fun because it makes a very full kind of bow. So if bow tying is difficult, all you have to do is just make a knot, and that will work beautifully. Now right here, she has, these are 2 die cuts and 1 cutout. So Life is Better with You, and then these 2. And something I wanted to share about both the die cuts and the cutouts. See, let me show you. Here is the die cut that is used right here. And you'll see it doesn't have anything on it. Well, you can stamp on it, you can put dazzle words on it, or you can do what Teresa's done and you can overlap other cutouts and die cuts onto it. So it just gives you another design possibility, which I think is pretty nice. Now let's go on the inside of our card. And on the inside of our card, now we use this on part of the front, but on the inside of the card, this part is going to be used. And doesn't that do a nice job? Right here is another sheet that is right here. There we go. And you can see that, there we go, it's a better view. You can see it's right here. So that, and again, everything you do makes a difference. That's one of the cutouts. So just a lot going on, a lot of layering, but it's all done with the things that you get in the collection. So that's nice. The only extra thing that was added was the bow, the ribbons. So that's pretty easy. Okay, now we're going to get into another card that is really pretty and very different. So let me show you that this is made out of the cardstock. Again, this is that burgundy color that you've seen before. And what's nice about it is that it is the way that we design the cardstock is that it's either the same color on the backside or it's a different shade of the same color. So it's going to work. Now, what's going on the front here? Well, this is the rose lace cutting die. It is 2 pieces. This inside piece and then the outside piece. So she did use both of them, and she did put them onto the metallic gold paper. So this is our metallic gold. You can see it's not holographic, it just has a beautiful sheen with the gold, and so that worked very well. In fact, she's going to use it on a couple of things. So she die cut the gold, and then she attached it to the heat-resistant acetate. Now, you're not using a heat gun, so any acetate will work. This happens to be a bit extra sturdy acetate. Now, I asked Teresa what adhesive she used, and she told me that she used the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist. And the reason why she did that is because if you need to slide this a little bit as you're attaching it, this glue will give you that ability. So that worked out nicely. So you die cut the piece out of gold, and then you attach it to acetate, and you want the acetate to be about 3/4 of an inch longer. And that is because it's going to get placed on the back of our piece that's right here. So this is going to be, we're going into the 12 by 12 now. Okay, so we're going to go into the 12 by 12, as I said, and you can see how beautifully this coordinates with that solid cardstock. And so this piece is going to get attached to the back. Want to use the extra sticky tape to do that because it's movable. And that gives just a really pretty front of our card, just quite striking. Now, Teresa used, let me put these away. Teresa used some of the die cuts. So you can see this happy birthday tag. And this tag does already have a hole in it. So she took advantage of that, and she took a piece of that same burgundy ribbon. So here it is, the burgundy set again, wrapped it around and brought both ends through the tag and then simply knotted them. So that's a nice way to go. The thinking of you, well, that's also part of the die cuts. Right there, you can see it. So that worked out nicely. So you've got this gold on burgundy, very striking look. Now for the inside of the card, the Make-A-Wish is a cutout that she matted on the gold to keep the gold flowing from front to the inside. And then you see this piece, well, she simply trimmed out one of the flowers to place it right there. Just really nice. And if you want to do a message, you can certainly write on the back of your card. That will work perfectly. Just really nice. So good use of that cutting die, and you could think about that in terms of any all over pattern cutting die. Nice way to go. Okay, now we haven't touched the chipboard, but we want to do that. So let me show you her next card. Here we go. Isn't that pretty? And isn't that gold striking? Yes, it is. I can hear you. Yes, it is. Okay, we are back into our 5" by 6.5" card, so our standard size. And what Teresa has done is she has first created a base for it. And let me show you. So this is the pink cardstock. And then she put the papers. Here we go. So again, this is that first sheet. I think I've said that 400 times now. And this is the piece that she cut and then matted it on the pink. And this is going onto the front of her card, again, letting the white card be the matte. Then this piece is from, let's see, I had this all laid out before. Let me see if I can put that back together. Okay, here we go. So this piece that has the flowers, more of the brown or the tan on the center. So you can see that she just took this upper corner and matted that on the green, this time the dark green, and then again on the gold, because she knew that gold was going to be her accent. So she did a double matte and placed that right there. The love is one of the cutouts, and here it is again. That's one that's been left blank. It's got some artwork, and that was just foam taped on top, as you can see. Now, about the chipboard. Okay, let's go into that. And Teresa did some multi-layers of using embossing powder. So she used the Versamark watermark ink pad, and she said that she really made sure that the Versamark, because it has a raised pad, you can really squish it all over the chipboard. And she wanted to make sure that it even got on the edges of the chipboard. So that was a good idea. And then she used gold embossing powder. Now I know it doesn't look very sparkly there, but that's what it does. And she did the whole process, you know, pour this on and then tap off the excess and use a heat gun to melt the embossing powder. But I do need to tell you that she did it 3 times. So after once you've done it, then just go back, do the Versamark again, pour it on, tap it off, do the heat gun. She did it 3 times, so she got a very deep layer, and that was her choice. And you can see that she did it with this border, with the word love, and with one of the butterflies. And isn't that just beautiful how that all coordinates? Okay, let's get in. Oh, one thing again, I told you we were going to use the tweezers again. She found it really helpful to, when you're doing the heat gun, especially you're doing it 3 times, is to use the tweezers to hold your piece. You can just hold it down onto your craft mat, or however you want to do it, but that will keep the heat gun away from your delicate fingers. Okay, now on the inside of her card, she has taken yet another area of the pattern paper, and this one has the butterfly, so that's kind of a way to tell if you're trying to duplicate these, and that little butterfly right there, so she's trimmed that, and did also a bit of matting on this piece. This is a cutout. So there you go. How nicely all of that works together. Of course it does. It's all designed to. Now, the Happy Valentine's Day, that comes from our Happy Anytime dazzles. There are, you can use the Valentine's Day. It's got Happy New Year. It's got Happy everything except for Christmas. And it even has Happy St. Patrick's Day. Also, thank you for your service. So all of those are in that one paper collection, or one dazzle collection. So that's really nice. Okay, I have one more card for you, and it also uses the chipboard. So let me bring that in. And here it is, and I think this is drop dead gorgeous. Well, I think many of them are actually. Now, this is obviously a slimline card. I'm going to ask Steve just to back up just a tad so that you could, there we go, you can see my mess all over. And this was done with the 12 by 12 paper, so let me bring that out. But before I do that, I want to wiggle this a little bit because I want you to see the gold that is on it. And Teresa used our mist, and I want to make sure that you're seeing that. Are you? I guess, Steve, can you pop in just for a minute? Yeah, Steve just loves it when I do this to him. Huh, Steve? I got a thumbs up. Okay, so you can see that gold on the chipboard. Really pretty. Really see it on the butterflies. There we go. Okay, now he's backing up. Okay, so this is a slimline card, and this is the paper that she used. You can see it. This is on the back of this gorgeous one. Again, we have the colors that coordinate. And Teresa trimmed this down and glued it to her slimline card. The slimline card comes with envelopes. And then she made this piece, this jar, and this is out of our Foggy Forest cutting dies. And there you've got the jar. And she just die cut it out of vellum. Now the vellum, this vellum is 6 inches by 12 inches, and there are 10 sheets in the collection. I only have a few of them here because we've been busy. And so she die cut the jar out of it. The nice thing about that is that jar can go a lot of places throughout the year, so makes a good investment, doesn't it? And she used the ocean blue ink pad and the blending tools to tap that and go from the edge of the craft mat and just to put that on to make an edge to it. And the nice thing too about this cutting die is that you're going to get the indentation of the rings of the jar lid, and that's going to show up when you do that inking. So that's really nice. Now she went into her chipboard and she colored with tri-blend markers, and what is marked on the instructions is this 24-pack set. Now, no, you don't need 24 colors to execute this, but they are all in there. So if that's something you're interested in, you can use any markers. We just love the tri-blend because in 24 markers, you're going to get, oh, let me see, 72 colors. So that's a pretty neat deal. And you can see how that happens with the darker on the inside as it goes lighter. Same thing with the leaves, butterflies. So all of those were colored, and you can color them while they're still on the backing, or you can pop them out and color them. But then the last thing that she did before she glued it is she sprayed it with this Prism Gold spray. It's called Glamour Gold, and this is going to go a long way. So you just spray it, let it dry, and then glue everything in place. The vellum, you can just glue it, placing glue behind the things that you attach to the front of it, and that glue won't show. Okay, the thank you is a cutout. On the inside, wanted to show you this because it's a great example of how useful these are. This is one of the cutouts, and she's just placed that about 1/2 inch from the fold. This, You Make the World Very Special, is another of the cutout. It goes there. And there's another one of the chipboard pieces, just colored and attached right there. To attach the chipboard, we recommend the Cosmic Shimmer glue. You can use any glue that you have, but that will work perfectly every time. So what do you think? What do you think about the romantic florals? I think that in this season, it's just really nice to have something oh so pretty and oh so lovely. So this is the collection. Again, just to recap for you, I have a pile over here. So let me bring it to you. We have the chipboard, as you saw. We have the die cuts. We have the 6x6 papers. We have that incredibly versatile 12x12 solid cardstock, and the whole thing that starts it all off is the 12x12 pattern cardstock. All of this makes a wonderful collection, and pretty soon our plan is to offer you a monthly subscription so that you can get everything just ahead of our webisodes. So we're working on that. Hey, let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested. I'm planning on calling it I Want It All. And when we have die cuts that are cutting dies that match, we'll add that too. So let me know if you're interested, because that's something we plan to do. I want to thank you so much for joining us. We love doing this, and we absolutely love sharing it with you. If you are watching us on YouTube, please come on over and watch it at paperwishes.com. Take advantage of that money saver on the right side of your screen. Also, for you YouTubers, if you like, we would appreciate it if you would like us, and please subscribe, because that lets people know that we're around, and we want to spread the word. And for all of you, I want to thank you so much for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.